Over the past few months, we've seen a massive backlash in the gaming industry, especially against different corporations and even some companies who are specifically designed to insert DEI and wokeness into anything they get their hands on. And one of the companies that bore the brunt of that backlash was absolutely Sweet Baby Inc., a company that got exposed for some of the nefarious practices they have in the video game industry. Some of their talents, some of the people that work there decided to spout off on social media, try to attack gamers, try to get people deplatformed for having a different opinion than them, and it all blew up in their face. Easy to forget, that's where this all started, when Sweet Baby Inc. employees went after gamers, and they couldn't handle it when the gamers struck back. Well, since that point in time, the CEO, Kim Belair, has been doing everything in her power to play victim. And recently, it was noted that over the past few months, she made an appearance at a big convention at the XOXO Festival and gave a speech about how her and Sweet Baby Inc., they're just the victims and you should all feel bad for us. Watch this.
If you haven't heard of Sweet Baby Inc., thank you. That's actually how I prefer it. But if you have, it's either because of the over 80 amazing and often award-winning games that we've worked on, or actually one of those, Usual June, was at this very conference. So yeah, you've either heard us from all of.
Please don't mention the multitude of games we worked on that have flopped since we got noticed for doing this, but hey.
These wonderful games, or perhaps you're familiar with the nearly year-long hate campaign that has been waged against us as a team. Unfortunately, today I'm here to talk about that in a talk I'm going to call What Happens When You Get Harassed? A Sweet Baby Story. So I'm going to start at the beginning.
Literally going to give a speech about how you guys are the biggest victims in the gaming industry, despite you guys being the one, your employee being the one that kicked off a massive campaign to try to get gamers deplatformed because they were calling you out. Interesting how it works that way. And throughout the entire thing, she'd show YouTube thumbnails, talk about people that said mean things to them online. It got to the point where she had to talk about the person who owns X, Elon Musk. She apparently doesn't think too highly of him.
At best, the nicest thing you would see in some of these spaces was that we were a punchline. But any defenders were really, really shouted down quite quickly. And in moments when this...
Defenders of Sweet Baby Inc. were shouted down quite quickly. Do you know why? Because the massive amount of people that were out there, they rejected what you were doing. They didn't like what you were doing. They didn't agree with what you were doing. That's why the people that, stepped up to defend you, the 5% of them out there, yeah, they got shouted down by the vast majority of people who have a problem with what your company has been doing to the gaming industry.
This movement couldn't dig up like another reason to attack us. They would just kind of move on to other groups who they perceive to be like us, all while, doing the work of erasing all of those people's and our actual jobs and interest and papering over it with kind of, that rallying cry of far-right supremacy, DEI.
No, the rallying cry of far-right supremacy. Is this the first time? It might be the first time I've heard far-right supremacy. That's a new one that's going to get used all the time. That's a new buzzword you're going to hear from now on, I suppose. Far-right supremacy. The DEI shit, the rallying cry, that's for you freaks. That's what you've been doing. In fact, up until very recently, that's what your entire website was about, was diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's almost like you're trying to get away from that now because you realize it's cancerous. It's toxic, an actual use of the word toxic, because when people hear that shit, they want to run away from it. Not far-right people. We're talking about normal people. It has a very negative connotation now because you have made it that way. You can see right here, Sweet Baby Inc. redesigns its website to remove client and game list, as well as to hide its woke agenda. Because before, when you went to Sweet Baby Inc.'s website, it was all about diversifying, enriching the video game industry, more inclusive, all of these different buzzwords, all of the different push for DEI and equity and diversity and inclusion, all across your entire website, as well as a list of your clients. Now, suddenly, those things have gone away. Now we're just about telling better stories. Hey, we work with people who can help you tell a better story. Where's your diversity, equity, inclusion? You've removed it from your website. That was your rallying cry, Kim Bel-Air. You were the one who said you wanted to go to war with the games industry. You were the one who said, you know what? You should push and pressure all the people at your companies to bring us in and change your games because they're not doing a good enough job at DEI. That was your rallying cry, and it has been defeated by all the normal people in the world. But we'll let her continue.
And as ridiculous and stupid as it all was, I actually was not prepared for the escalation of it when noted buffoon and the Twitter CEO Elon Musk decided that he would chime in with his very cool thoughts.
Noted buffoon Elon Musk. Listen, you can disagree with a lot of fucking Elon stuff, and you can think he's probably like kind of goofy sometimes and shit like that. This is a dude who has accomplished a lot from a technological perspective. Look at what they just did with SpaceX. That's what we're seeing from Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a pioneer of innovation. So you want to call him a lot of things. Buffoon, I don't know if that's the one that fits the best. But the reason she said that is because of this. Elon Musk. So we'll let her, maybe she'll read the quote.
Yeah, some very cool, very good thoughts in there. Lots to think about. So this was hard the whole.
Is that supposed to be like are people supposed to laugh at that? Is that what's supposed to happen? This is the quote. Sweet Baby Inc. is an evil blight on the gaming industry. All they do is make games terrible and try to cancel people. They cannot go broke soon enough. Elon Musk. This is all this is. It's a fucking victimhood tour. And while you're playing victim and saying, we still have to do these things, our voice was silenced, but we're not going to stop. It looks like, in a way, you are trying to stop. You've completely nuked a lot of the references to DEI and woke bullshit on your website. And you're trying to just pass yourselves off as, hey, we just help make your games better. We're not about diversity, equity, inclusion. I promise. You've been destroyed. There's been reports out there for a long time that people that are associated with the studio have had problems finding work other places because they're now known for people that want to come in, that are activists, that want to change these games. And the way they've interacted with gamers, it's going to turn a lot of companies off from having anything to do with them. But that is something they have brought on themselves. They did it to themselves with their actions throughout this entire thing. And they can't stop playing the victim, even while very silently admitting that, you know what? People don't like us pushing the DEI bullshit. So let's delete it and nuke it from the website. It's fucking embarrassing. It's hard to believe here we are months later and Sweet Baby Inc. still in the news for more embarrassing failures and playing victim. But nevertheless, I guess we still do know your name. Maybe that's not the way you originally wanted it, Kim Bel-Air, but now it's the reality. But there's nothing you can do to change the way that people view you. At least as long as you're like playing victim and being dishonest about this shit, quietly removing all this stuff from your website, hoping people don't notice. Well, unfortunately for you, they noticed.